Aloha and welcome to this module on development environments. I'm pretty excited about this module because development environments are kind of like the equivalent of a knife if you were a professional chef. Okay, the development environment is the tool that's in your hands the most of the time and is so critical to your capability to produce software well. So it's not only choosing the right knife, but having the correct technique with each knife that makes you an effective chef. Similarly, having the right development environment for the particular project that you're building and using that development environment correctly and effectively is key to actually being a good developer. So in this particular module, we'll talk a little bit in general about development environments. And then we're going to focus most of the time on a specific one that I've chosen for this class called Intellij IDEA. Now, I chose it for this class because given the things that we're doing, particularly working with the Play framework, the consensus in the community is that Intellij IDEA is the best IDE for it. There's also there's not a consensus. There's also a lot of people in the community who feel that Intellij IDEA is really one of the best, if not the best, development environments in existence today. I'm not going to argue that fact. Basically, I'm going to argue that it's a very good one, that for what we're doing in this class, it's going to be the best suited development environment. And then thirdly, I want to argue that regardless of whether, maybe you have another development environment, Sublime or Emacs or whatever, that you feel good about and you feel productive with, it's always worth the time to invest in learning a new development environment because it makes you more flexible. It introduces you to different styles of working and different capabilities that you might not have been aware of before. And so it's a useful thing to do in and of itself. So I want you to suspend your disbelief in this class. Even if you're really comfortable with another editor, go through the pain and suffering of learning to use a new development environment, specifically Intellij IDEA. I think by the end of the class, if you've invested the time in learning this new development environment, you will be happy about it, even if you decide to go on and use other development environments in the future. Okay? So the objective, the learning outcomes, of course, are understanding why development environments are a good thing to use in the first place, and then secondly, to start on the path to becoming an effective user of Intellij IDEA. And we're going to do that with these two screencasts, and then there's the Intellij documentation, and specifically, I want you to work through this quick start in 30 days section of the material. There's a page which talks about keyboard shortcuts. So a lot of becoming efficient with Intellij IDEA is internalizing various keyboard shortcuts and key bindings that make you an efficient developer using it. You don't want to be using the mouse all the time. You don't want to be moving around menus all the time trying to figure out how to do stuff. And then I have some articles written by others about shortcuts that are particularly good, navigation things that are particularly good, this minimal survival guide. That it all may, hopefully will help you as fast as possible come up to speed with this new development environment. But I want to say that even going as fast as possible, it's going to take you quite a while. You're going to need to invest hours, really, in using the development environment to become comfortable. So the experiences that you'll have in this module. First, you need to install Java 8. Here's some instructions on that. Second, you'll need to install Intellij IDEA, and I kind of lead you through that. One really key thing is to make sure that Intellij starts up within 10 seconds. Because if Intellij takes a minute to start up, everybody, including myself, will say, forget it, I'm just going to bring up Emacs or Notepad or whatever for this quote-unquote simple task because I don't want to wait a minute. So make sure that Intellij comes up fast, and I give you some ideas on how to make sure that happens. And then there's some configuration that you need to do to the default installation to make your experience kind of better for this class, and also to provide a kind of common framework. Because during this class, you may be, looking at someone else's environment or even typing on their keyboard at times, and you want everybody should have kind of a similar configuration. So you can look through this. And then I found when I use a Macintosh with Intellij, there's a few little things that are weird. And so I made some notes that hopefully will help you. And then finally, once you've got it configured, there's this tutorial on creating and running your first Java application that you should go through that just helps you, steps you through that beginning process. Okay, so that's, those are the, oh, and then the final experience is this thing called the Intellij flashcard game. And the idea there is that to help you learn these key bindings, I've created some flashcards that you can use to quiz yourself along with some of the key bindings that I think are most important. So you can go through this game. The idea is that within a minute you should be able to recall all these key bindings, and then we'll have a little in-class assessment at the end of the module to make sure that actually you can go through these flashcards quickly and correctly. Okay, so that's the module. Have fun with it. I'm hopeful that you'll learn to love IntelliJ IDEA, and I'll see you next time.